In this week's parsha, we learn about the jealousy and hatred that Yosef's brothers had towards him because of their father Yaakov showing favoritism to Yosef, and in their perception, Yosef was undermining their relationship with their father. Once the brothers were shepherding their father's flock in the city of Shechem, and Yaakov sends Yosef to see how his brothers are doing. When Yosef arrives, they conspire a plot to eliminate him. They then sell him into slavery. Yosef ends up in Egypt. He's bought by one of the nobles in Egypt as a slave. He then ends up also in an Egyptian prison. Eventually, he rose to be the prime minister of Egypt. Many years later, Yaakov and his whole family come to Egypt, and Yosef sustains them in the years of famine and gives them all their needs. And the Torah says that Yosef paid back kindness to his brothers for all the bad that they have done to him. And the question is, how is it humanly possible for Yosef not to have any feelings of resentment, anger towards his brothers? Not only didn't he take revenge, but he showed them love and he sustained them and he gave them all their needs. And the answer is, Yosef knew this fundamental Jewish principle of divine providence, that everything that happens to us is orchestrated by God for our benefit. And therefore, Yosef wasn't angry at his brothers because he knew that there is no one that has any power over us besides God. And that if someone appears to be harming us, it was already planned by God that this thing should happen to me. That person may be liable and guilty for their actions, but which happened to me was already planned by God, and therefore the other person has no power. If God would not want this harm to happen to me, the person wouldn't do it. Having this knowledge helped Yosef not only that he didn't have any hatred to his brothers, but on the contrary, he loved them and he supported them, as it was vividly expressed in his story. Although their actions of selling him into slavery appeared to be very, very bad, but it was their actions that led to his greatest success of becoming one of the greatest leaders in Egypt, and eventually being able to support the whole family. And this is a very, very strong lesson for us. If we have that in mind, that no one has any control over us besides God. No one can harm us. And if someone appeared to harm us, it was because God already predestined that that's going to happen to us. And therefore, it will give us the strength to forgive and not to be angry, although that person may be liable and punishable for their actions. But I will not be angry because it wasn't that person. That person didn't have any power. It was all from God. Have a wonderful Shabbos.